Hi, Claire Maxwell here. I am sharing with you today the last of my Mobilignment point system. And if you're new, just so you know, the Alexander technique, which is 140 years old or so at this point, is the core of everything I do. And it's a hands-on method of re-educating your body so that it becomes more fluid and more adaptable and less strained. Mobilignment is something that I created so that I could teach without using my hands. And it's just a way of recognizing, mobilizing, and realigning all the important parts of your body in relationship to each other so that you don't leave any part of you behind. We all have habits of forgetting parts of our body. And your feet, for a lot of us, we just forget about them. They're so far away, they're all the way down there, and all we know about them is that they hurt at the end of the day, or that, they're getting a lot of pressure. So we're going to bring a little bit of playful awareness to them today, and I'll share with you the two key points we're going to go over today. The first one I call the heel point, and it's very specific. It's important that it's really specific. It is at the very top and center of what's called your calcaneus bone. Of course, the point itself is on the surface of your body, on the skin, but this bone extends a good 2 or 3 inches behind what we usually call our ankle. So if you look down right now at your own foot, you might be able to see the 2 ends of your ankle bones. These 2 lower leg bones. That's usually what we mean when we say ankle. And if you look down at them, you'll see that they're really far in front of your heel. So what's it like as you're standing there to know that there's a point up on the top of that heel bone and it's behind your leg? So you can just shift your weight a little bit and see how that big bone moves. It has to kind of be picked up off of the floor, and then it drops back down onto the floor. And for a lot of us, it can get a little chronically tight if you pull the weight forward into the front of your foot. You'll see that that whole tendon system at the back that attaches to that heel point, it gets a little bit tighter. And if you kind of think of that bone dropping down to the floor, you can feel the tendon or the tissues around it stretch and release a little bit. And that little release kind of springs your head up off the ground. So you could say that if your heels drop to the ground, your head can be lifted up. And if you lift up your heels, you'll see that it disturbs your balance, and it puts a lot of stress. I feel it in the back of my neck. It puts stress in a lot of different places. So that's the first point. And the other thing that's cool about it is that when you're standing here, if you put your weight on one leg, you can literally circle your foot. I'll show you what that looks like in a second, but your heel bone can be picked up and kind of circled around. So it's mobile in 3 dimensions. It's not just a fold. It's mobile in many, many different dimensions. Okay, and then the second point is what I call your toe point, which is a little bit of a misnomer because for most of us, this big toe bone is what we call the big toe. But this point is a little tiny floating bone. It's called a sesamoid bone. And it rests underneath the knuckle of your big metatarsal, the biggest metatarsal in your foot. So I'll hold it a little closer, you can see it there, and that's kind of how it sits on the ground. And it is like your kneecap, it's floating inside a tendon, but it lives right underneath this place where, as you're standing there right now, you can probably feel that that part of your foot, which is not stuck to the rest of your foot, that's what's interesting. It's got a little bit of mobility. It needs to touch. If you pull it up off the floor, it destabilizes you. So these 2 points are quite mobile. And I just want to show you what that might look like. So if you'd like to sit on the floor, it might be easier for you to be able to relax your foot. I'm going to do it here so that you can see. And first of all, I'm just going to put that my heel bone down, and in a very gentle way, without really increasing tension in my calf too much. You can feel some of the toning at the front of your calf and then releasing. So when these muscles tone, the heel bone releases away. You can also kind of make a little circle with it. But in order to do that, you have to really not be overtoning the rest of your leg. So that's the interesting thing, is if you get quiet through here, your torso and your big thigh muscles, you find that there's this kind of delicious articulate quality to your foot. And with this point, you'll see that you can explore this kind of outside edge of your foot, and the fact that this part of your foot was once a grasping, something that grasped. And so if this little toe point folds towards your heel like this, there's a whole toning up of your foot. And actually, when this tendon contracts, this musculature needs to release so that your foot can come close to you. So there's just a lot of play between these 2 points on your foot, and it'll really open up the 3-dimensional possibilities for you of the movement that you have. And that's why I love the points, because there's no right way to explore them, and every time I play or experiment with them, I discover something new. So they continue to show me new things about how my body can move. So I hope that was fun. Take good care of your feet. Now, if you put that foot down on the floor, the one that you were exploring, and you stand on it, I'm not going to because I don't want to cut my head off, but see if it feels different, that leg, that side of your pelvis, compared to the other foot, what that's like. And so once you turn me off, take some time and do the other foot too. All right, peace and love. Bye.